Hi, I'm Bill for CoolWildlife.com, and today we're going to review the Jobu-Design HD3 gimbal head. That's HD for heavy duty, and this head is all of that. If you've ever tried to shoot with a ball head with a heavy lens, you know how difficult it can be to pan for wildlife. One of the things you're going to find with the gimbal head is that it balances the lens, finds center, and makes it very easy for the lens to be moved with one finger maneuver. If I'm panning for wildlife, I'm able to do that very easily moving through the range. Now, one of the things I love about the HD3 head is that they built in an Arca-Swiss quick release clamp, which makes it very easy to mount your lens. Arca-Swiss has really become the gold standard for mounts. So let me show you how easy it is to take this lens on and off. Simply screw here and pull. You can see here they've built in the Arca-Swiss clamp. They built it right into the design of this, which saves weight and saves you buying a third-party clamp. The other thing that you need to know is you are going to require a foot, an Arca-Swiss foot for your lens. The clamp itself actually binds into the rail. Now, one of the things I recommend, you can see this clamp is about 2 inches. I recommend you get a foot. You can see my foot is more like 6 inches. The reason I want you to get a larger foot than the clamp itself is so that you can balance the weight of the lens as you put it on the clamp. So as I mount the camera, you can see I have 2 marks on my foot. The first mark is where I will mount the camera when I don't have a teleconverter on, and then I will slide forward to the second mark when I add my 1.7 teleconverter, which is the teleconverter that I use most often. Why do I have those 2 marks? I want to be able to get quickly into a balanced state when I see wildlife. I don't want to be moving back and forth trying to figure out where center is. So I know that this point will be center without a teleconverter. I can lock it down quickly and I know I'm balanced. As I add weight to the back of the camera though, like the teleconverter, that is going to move the camera into this position, and I need to move it forward to balance it off. So that's where I need to move to the second mark and lock it down, and now my lens will be balanced with the teleconverter. Now, one of the things I really love about the Jobu HD3, the engineers at Jobu, I call this the Jobu 2-in-1 head. Why do I say that? Imagine you're out taking wildlife photography, you've got your big lens on, and all of a sudden a breathtaking landscape unfolds behind you. The sun is setting, it's beautiful, but normally what I would have to do is switch to my ball head. I don't have the ability to use a gimbal head generally because it blocks my view. What the engineers have done at Jobu is made this arm adjustable. I use it at the bottom when I'm on my big lenses for center of gravity. But what I'm doing here is adjusting the head to the top level, and now with an L bracket on my lens, which you can get at Jobu-Design.com, they've got a host of L brackets and brackets for your lenses. What you can do is mount the camera, tighten it up, and now you've got yourself a landscape head, right? I'm able to now use this for doing panos, taking multiple shots, keeping it level all the way through. It's just a thoughtful design that allows me to switch quickly from wildlife photography to landscape photography and back and forth. Now, imagine we've finished with our landscape and we are back to an owl has just flown into the frame, and we want to be able to take a picture of that owl. So what we would do is simply unclamp that with the Arca-Swiss quick release clamp. Bring our big lens back into the picture, and remember, I've marked my foot with 2 marks. I don't have a teleconverter on, so I'm going to my first mark, and I know that that will be balanced on this head so that I don't have to transition and figure out where the center point is while the owl's flying out of the frame. So I've dropped down the head and locked it down into the lower part. I'm going to now mount the lens onto the clamp. I'm going to line up that mark with the back end of the clamp, and I'm going to tighten it down. And now I know my lens is perfectly balanced on the head. I'm ready now to take wildlife pictures of the owl that's just flowing into the frame. Now, one of the things I want to show you, some features on this Jobu head, are these rubberized knobs, which make it very easy to work in the cold. So today is only about -2, but if it's -20, I'm going to have my gloves on, and I still need to be able to work the head, work it through the ranges, maneuvering the knobs as I go while I have my gloves on, which is very easily done with these rubberized knobs, another thoughtful feature that they put into this head. You've got essentially a tilt knob, which allows me to change the tilt of the lens. I can lock it into place, and one of the things I love about this head, and some of the cheaper heads I've used, are allow the lens to creep. So you could try to lock it in. Remember, this is about 15 pounds. If you try to lock it in, a lot of lenses creep. What I want to do, let's say the bird is up in the tree, I want to lock the lens onto the subject. I might even be using a remote, but I don't want this lens to creep at all. So I'm going to lock it down. I know it's on the subject. The other knob that you have, you see here, is on the pan side. So that allows the lens to move freely through the range. But I also want to be able to use that as a throttle and lock it down, put some tension on it, so that when I'm panning, I've got some resistance. It makes it much easier for me to do that. The other thing about this head that I love is that it's maintenance free, so it's greased up at the factory. The bearings inside are self-contained. You don't need to do anything with it at all from that point of view, which I find is excellent. Now, the HD3 head is rated for 25-pound maximum load. I've got a D800 and a 600 millimeter lens on this rig. I'm at about 15 pounds. I only know of one lens that's going to take you to the 35-pound max. If you own that lens, I recommend that you look at the Jobu Pro 2 head, which is a heavier version of the HD3. But for normal use, if I'm hiking, I'm traveling, and I have weight restrictions, the HD3, I say, is probably the sweet spot for heads. It's also 2 pounds 10 ounces. It's a lighter head, so it doesn't put strain on my shoulder if I'm hiking for 5 miles. The last thing I want to show you is when I'm getting ready to transport this lens, I'm going to make sure everything's locked down before I throw it over my shoulder. So I've got 2 knobs that I'm going to knock down, make sure they're tight. I do also check my clamp just to make sure that it's tight, and now this lens is stable and ready to go. I'm ready to head out of the bush. I do recommend, a little tip for you, make sure that your lens is on a horizontal plane or pointed down when you're hiking so that you don't get water, rain, snow on the lens itself. There's nothing worse than coming up on the perfect shot and finding out that you've got to clean off your lens. I'm Bill for CoolWildlife.com, and this has been a review of the Jobu-Design HD3 gimbal head. If you enter Cool Wildlife at time of purchase, whether you're on the phone or online, you'll get a 15% discount off your purchase.